Hello, Janet or Jin Jan here. Well, this is all quite strange to me. My first sort of community live drawing session. Um, I hope there's plenty going to be joining us. It's literally going to be like a 1 hour of trying to get together. I mean, we're all in lockdown, so I think people are maybe going a bit stir crazy. It isn't so much a lesson to speak of, though. Perhaps you can pick up some tips of just some of the things I've learned along my little journey so far. If I've got some really experienced artists that join us, then hopefully I can pick up some tips. It's for people to share, experiences with the drawing, any tips, that you might have picked up along your drawing journey if you have drawn already. If you haven't, great. This is what I'm going to start off with, just a pencil. I have got lots of different pencils that I've kind of accumulated along the way. It's probably a bit like my husband. He has this, I can't remember the term they call it, gear acquisition syndrome.
That's the one, gas. Bit of gas.
Well, it's kind of the same, but with pencils. I never thought I'd be a pencil geek, but here I am being a pencil geek. So I basically, in this get together, I'm just sort of, for me, it's just almost like online doodling. I used to always enjoy, for some reason, I didn't draw for many years, but I always seemed to draw an eye. If I was ever doodling, it was always an eye, and always the same side of an eye. I always struggled with the other side for some reason. I'm right-handed, and the eye that I will sort of draw now is the type of, well, whichever eye it is, whichever way you're looking at it. So I just kind of wanted to point out how, as you gain some knowledge, which, as I say, I'm still on my journey. I feel quite young, really, in my journey. It's been about 2.5 years, I think, since I accidentally started on this journey. But basically, I've picked up some real, good tips from very experienced artists who I've got a lot of respect for. I follow them because they're, a lot more advanced than me, and I'm always learning. I see videos, I research, and there's so many things that I just pick up. Shading techniques, blending techniques, just the different types of pencils, how to create highlights, rubbers. Whoever knew, there could be such a difference in rubbers. I had a problem when I first started drawing because I just had a normal rubber from, the shop. Didn't work too well. But who knew that blue tack could be used for creating highlights, for instance, things like that. So in this lockdown period, I've just been reading today that it's looking like there's going to be still pretty heavy restrictions in a lot of things until the end of the year. I would probably go insane if it wasn't for the fact that I've got plenty of things that I want to be doing, and I'm trying to keep myself busy. So I'm really hoping that this kind of helps. It's not a fancy thing. It's a very simple thing of just literally think of it as like a coffee morning, but just for an hour. Grab yourself a coffee, piece of paper, and a pencil, and just doodle online, really. And it's a way of kind of getting out and being with people, but in the safety of your own home. So without further ado, let's have a go. Right, so if we're just looking, for instance, this eye thing that I was talking about, a very simple eye, for example. I'll just do it up in the top corner, and then it's not distracting from the main thing. So something like that. There you go. Looks like an eye. Oh, hang on. Lovely long lady eyelashes. Few on the bottom. and then that little funny thing that I don't know the name of in the corner. So there you go. That's an eye. You've got an eye. Okay? But the difference when you actually start, that's great if you've never drawn before. I think we all know the basic shape of an eye, and that's whichever eye it is that I always go for, that way around with my right hand. But this is using my Faber-Castell, not the polychromos, sorry, it's the, I don't know if it will focus there. It's Faber-Castell 9000 pencils, 9000, it's the art set. And over the last 2.5 years, I always go back to this set. They blend well, they're lovely to use, they're not crazily expensive. There are cheaper pencils on the market, but for me, these are the ones that I always seem to go back to. So let's start. I've got a 2B pencil, which I tend to use a lot. Though having said that, just recently I'm seeing some amazing drawings coming from art friends of mine, artists who I'm not friends with, but I follow, and I'm noticing a lot. I never seem to venture into the H range of pencils. There's H, and then there's the B, and then there's an F in the middle, which I tend to never use. I must look into that more. But the H pencils, they're hard pencils, and the B pencils are soft. And as I say, I tend not to really go into the H range, but I'm seeing a lot recently that the H pencils are great for doing, for instance, skin tones. You've got to have a lot of patience when you're doing an in-depth drawing. I know, I've noticed in myself over the last couple of years, I lack patience when it comes to drawing. I've noticed it in myself. I've got a very patient nature with many things. For instance, if there's chocolate in the house, I'm very patient to pick my moment. Scott thinks I'm crazy, but I like to pick my moment. But when it comes to drawing, I really am quite impatient, and it annoys me. So that's one thing I need to do, is be far more patient. But with the H pencils that I was talking about, I've yet to do that with the shading. Apparently for skin tones, because skin isn't white, a lot of things aren't white. They might look white on a photograph. When you come to draw it, you might think, oh, I'll leave that bit white and I'll do this. Even the whites of an eye are really not white. There's quite a lot of grain, and when you're using graphite, obviously it's just, you know, black or grey or white, white of your paper. But really most things aren't white. So that's something that perhaps I could do a lesson on, is venturing into the H range. It's like an unknown territory to me for the skin tones. But like I say, I've seen some amazing results. Lots of patience required, so I probably won't find it easy, but I will be doing that. So let's have a go. I've just got a drawing in front of me, just of an eye that I've picked.
Just a quick thing, Jan. A couple
Yes.
of people are saying hi. There's Vic Tewson.
Hi, Vic.
And Catherine Spearman.
Hi, Kathy. I hope you got your pencil and paper out. Vic, I hope you're joining me in the drawing, and I'd love to see what you're doing. It's really, as well, if you don't want to draw this eye, that's absolutely fine. If you want to draw something else, absolutely fine. I'd love to see it. If you've got questions or you've got tips for me or things like that, then let's hear it. As I say, I'm kind of looking at it as almost like a bit of a coffee hour. Brew in hand, which I haven't got. I don't know where it's gone. Pencil in hand and paper, and just meeting up with people, because we're not able to go out and meet up. So what better way than to do it here and almost feel like we are. So hi. Okay. So I'm going to make a start on this. Like I say, I'm going to start with my 2B pencil. So we basically want the basic eye shape. So let's have a look. And this is freehand. Again, you know, I am self-taught. I've always used a grid method for my commissions, the portraits that I do for people. I find it helps greatly with the proportions. Some people are very, very gifted. I don't know whether you work up to that, or I have got to work on that myself. But some people seem to be able to just draw freehand, or they have some kind of reference, whether it's like they use a reference point on the photograph that they're copying, or if they're out in the open and drawing, there's a tool that you can get that you can kind of measure, and I don't know what that's called. Like I say, I'm not a professional, so you'll have to excuse my lack of knowledge in certain things, and maybe my terminology, because I didn't do art college, I didn't do university or anything, so anything could come out of this mouth. Okay, so we'll get back to this. Let's hope it turns out the right shape. Just kind of getting a basic eye shape. Oh, my coffee's here. Hope you've got your coffee too. Right, so. And as I say, we've got this bit in the corner. And then the comes round. This is a bit scary actually, because like I say, this is the first time doing this live, especially. Right, so we'll get a basic eyeball in there.
Wilma says hi.
Hi, Wilma. Hi. Hope you've got your pencil and your coffee and your paper.
If anybody out there does any drawings, you know, like Jan was saying, if you want to post anything in the comments to this video, then I can probably display it on the screen if you like.
That would be great. Like I say, it's just kind of want to create a little online drawing community, something that maybe we can look forward to once a week. Nothing fancy, nothing special, not particularly a lesson, but just get together and draw. Be creative instead of going stir crazy.
We're doing good, Kaylee.
Okay, so we've got that. Another thing I've noticed with when I'm copying photographs, when I'm doing portrait commissions, and one of the things I particularly love drawing is the eyes, because they say, don't they, you can see into the soul from the eyes, but you can also see reflections. And I have actually done some commissions where you wouldn't notice it if you didn't really look into the into the eye and focus on it. But you can see reflections. You can sometimes see the general outline of a person. You'll have to look next time you're looking at a photo. If you go in close enough, you can actually see either the person stood there, you know, the outline of them. You can see reflections of the windows. There might be Venetian blinds or things like that. Also, the way the light falls, I've noticed, creates different catch lights as well. There's like I think you'll know this one, Scott, in photography. Is it called a beauty dish, or with the circular thing?
Yeah, that's right.
It's like a ring. And so if you look at photographs of, say, models, you'll notice that they might have an actual white ring of a catch light where they've been in a photography studio. So, or it might just be a white dot. It just depends how much light there is, where it's coming from, how it's falling on the eye, etc. This one, fortunately, I picked an easy one because I'm not going to go into great depth with this this photo, this drawing. Like I say, it's not so much a produce a masterpiece. It's more just enjoy an hour of drawing. Plus, I don't think I'm at masterpiece stage yet as well. Okay. So yeah, this catch light is just a circular catch light. I think the moon must have been shining in her. So
you are a masterpiece.
Smooth operator.
Might get a nice tea now.
Oh, who, you?
Yeah.
Oh. Okay. So there's the pupil. I don't know if you've ever looked at an eye as well. Underneath this section here, under the lid, it always is a bit darker because obviously the lid has a bit of depth to it, so it creates a bit of shadow underneath. So that's the... Then we've got...
It's 8:20 where Vic is.
Oh, Vic, is that in the morning?
No, at night, so she's not got a coffee.
Oh, have you got a glass of wine?
She's got a white wine.
Yes! Not jealous at all.
Perfect. Let's just drink wine in the morning.
In fact, it's Thursday. Oh, home brew. Oh, homemade wine. Is it today?
It's today.
Oh my goodness, 4 weeks we've waited for that. Oh,
yeah.
We might celebrate tonight. I always love it when I get to the stage where I start to do the shading and blending, because that brings a drawing. It just changes the complete outlook. A friend of mine, Kate Hughes, I don't know whether she may watch this at one point or whatever, she's an amazing artist. She actually introduced me to the term, which I think is very well known, and it's called it's not called that. It's called the ugly stage of a drawing. And this is the kind of the ugly stage, really. It's just the basic outline. And it really does make a difference when you start introducing all the shading and, like I say, the blending. Oh, the blending. When you start blending, it's like it comes alive. That's my favourite part of doing a drawing. Right, so these, like I say, it's not going to be a masterpiece. It's just maybe get some tips, ideas, etc.
That might be a whole new channel, actually, Kaylee. She wants to know, how do you make homemade wine?
Yeah, that's probably for a different thing. Which Kaylee are we here? Which Kaylee is
Garth.
it? Kaylee Garth. Hi, Kaylee. You're good at drawing. I've seen your work. Hope you're doing some drawing now. Right. Okay. So now for an eyebrow. Let's have a look. So I've sharpened my pencil to quite a decent point. Again, it's I'll put that there. I've got a new pencil sharpener actually. Scott got it for me. It's an electric one. If I'm honest, it doesn't give the same points as the one I had. I may have to alternate because I did have a nice long point on the other. But when you're doing eyebrows, eyelashes, things like that, you need a mega sharp point, or you need one of these. But I'm trying to keep it to a minimum on the pencils because I don't know whether many of you've got.
What is that, Jan?
This one is a Graph Gear 1000 pencil made by Pentel.
Just put it up to the main camera, so.
There you go.
Put your hand behind it. Yeah, there you go. Look at that.
Yeah, it's a mechanical pencil, and if I do that, it extends the lead out. You can get different thicknesses of lead. You can get super fine ones, so they're great for like things like the eyelashes and stuff like that.
Cool.
But I'll go back to this one. I'm trying to do it on as few pencils as possible so that people can keep up.
Mm-hmm.
Getting the basic outline. She's got nice eyebrows, this lady. Natural. Okay, so we'll just make a start. I don't know what we're on here. Oh, right, yeah. Don't want to leave it kind of half finished, but
Plenty of time, John.
yeah. And as I say, this is just literally my own interpretation of things. You know, it's people who are experienced artists, they might look and think, what is she doing? I don't know half the time. I do different things that I think, yeah, that seems to be working.
If it's good, it is good.
Yeah, I guess so.
Just quickly for the viewers at home, is the eye big enough for you to see? Okay, would you like me to zoom that camera in? It's the first time we've done this. Just let us know in the comments.
So I think what I'll do, I'll just put a little bit of colour into that. And then I'm going to just bring out, I know that you will all have this particular tool, as I'll call it. I know you'll all have this, for sure. For sure. And this will help with the blending. And this particular tool is particularly sought after. To just bring out, I know that you will all. Not sure what that was.
Don't worry about that.
Okay, so do you want to see this particular tool? Here we go. It's toilet paper. And I'm kind of feeling really guilty using toilet paper right now for my art.
Oh.
Because obviously I think it's calmed down a bit now. I think people have stopped going insane, but this is what I have used now for a long time. So like I said, I knew you'd have it, so I just want to show you. I've done a very basic line here. Okay, I've just shaded it with my pencil, very basic, very rough. And all I do, I just kind of fold it to a bit of a point, and then I just go in and smooth that over. There you go. That's I have got different blending tools, which I did actually just get out. But I'm just going to use the toilet paper for now because I know you'll all have that. So there's a makeup brush. You can use that just obviously to soften any lines. You don't want to press too hard when you're doing just the initial things. These are the blending stumps, a variety. You actually have a little thing that you can sand them down. I think they're made of paper, you know, squashed together. And you can just kind of use the sandpaper to create the points again. These are also great because they also carry the colour. Like if I do that, you know, when you're blending, you can actually, instead of using a pencil to do extra bits over here, you can sort of use these to carry the graphite over onto different parts.
So can I just ask, Jan, if people haven't got those, is there anything? Is that what you're saying? You've got an alternative? Is that what?
The toilet paper.
Ah, the toilet paper. Right. Yeah. Yeah.
You know, you can shape that to a point. And this is why I'm only going to be using this one today. Like I said, that's just a makeup brush. It's quite firm. That is lovely for blending. So if you've got a makeup brush, if you've got plenty of makeup brushes, I bought this specifically, but if you've got plenty of makeup brushes similar to that, quite firm, you could always, if you've used it, even wash it out and maybe put that to one side and use that for art. Another one, you probably have got these as well, is just basically a cotton bud. They're great. Again, they just move the graphite around enough to soften. So that's another technique. But like I say, I'm just going to use this. So we've got the basic outline there. Now, as I say, on the whites of the eye, they're never white. Although they look white, they're not. There's always some shading. Now, this photograph that I've got isn't particularly good. It does look like pure white. So I'm just going to have to sort of improvise a little bit on that. Obviously, we've got this little bit in the corner. Can't really kind of make it out too great, but I'll put that there like that. So let's just get on with a little bit of the shading around the eye now. Just as I said, this is my own way of doing things. People might look at the order that I do it in. I'm quite erratic when I'm drawing. Some people are very organised. They'll start, if they're right-handed, they'll start top left, do every square inch of detail to the finished product and work their way down and do that. As I say, I've got two things. I'm quite erratic. That's one thing. And secondly, I don't think I've got the patience to do that. I like to see a bit of overall results. I do get there, but in my own way. So I don't think there's any right or wrong way. I think if you work the way you work, that's fine. I don't think you should ever try and think, I need to work like that, because we're all unique. And as long as we get to the finished results, I think that's all that matters. So I'll do a little bit, again, I'm still just using the 2B, just so that anybody that's only got maybe one pencil in the house at the moment, hopefully it might inspire you to take it up if you haven't drawn. Vic, I know that you obviously do drawing because of the lovely pencils you sent over with Scott back last year, I think it was. I'll have to get those on one of them.
Kate's in the house, by the way, Kate Hughes.
Oh, Kate, I just mentioned you. You'll have to...
She says good morning to you.
Morning, Kate. I was just talking about you earlier. You were the one that introduced me to the ugly stage of the drawing. You know that well. Kate is actually an amazing artist. If you go online and just look, Kate Hughes, she's doing incredible work, and her latest portrait is just blown my mind. It's just coming on a treat. It's amazing. So... I'm at the ugly stage, Kate, by the way.
We've gone off, hang on. We've gone off. Let me just see what's happening.
Sorry about this.
I know what it is. I know what it is.
Ah, we're back.
Might go off again.
Uh-oh. So hopefully you can start to see a bit of the, with this, even just with this tiny bit of shading.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. Here we go again. Sorry, technical problems. Only to be expected, I guess, for the first one.
See how that goes.
Okay. So again, I'm just kind of doing very basics. Now, one of the things I've learnt just recently, again, I'm always researching, watching, looking at different things, picking up tips off amazing artists. And basically, with the different types of shading, you can create, some types of shading are better for, depending on what you're actually drawing. And this one that I'm doing at the moment here is the little circular motions, which seems to be very good for skin texture. And like I said, I'm not going to go crazy in depth. It's just like a coffee morning with some drawing, but hopefully we all enjoy it, and it gives us a bit of an escape for an hour.
Kate says, so with you on erratic. Love a bit of... Is that flitting around a drawing?
Kate's, I have a good laugh with Kate. We kind of share our experiences. Oh dear. Yeah, we're both erratic. Okay, my photo's disappeared. As I say, as long as we get there in the end, that's all that matters, eh? Doesn't matter. Erratic's good anyway. I think being too organised with art is a bit boring. I hope you can start to see this coming together a bit. I don't know if you're drawing along. Is anybody drawing along with the eye, or are you doing your own thing? And let's see it if you are doing your own thing. Okay. Obviously up here on the brow, there's always like, I mean, people, ladies, fellas as well, I guess, if you're into that kind of thing, buy highlighter obviously for that part of the eye up there. Right, I'm gonna have to, I think I'll speed things up a bit. I'll probably not get the other thing is, when you're shading as well, is obviously following the contours or the lines, the way that things go. So you're not going to draw lines straight down, for instance, here, where the eye kind of goes rounded. I'm just going to do, again, being a bit erratic, moving from the brow to the thing, but I'm just going to put a bit of colour in here, because I am aware now that I'm...
Colour, did you say?
Well, grey colour. Yeah, colour's another thing.
I'm too cheeky.
You are too cheeky.
Don't forget, folks, if you're drawing anything over there, or if you've got any drawings you want to share with everybody else on here, if you put them, I think you can do that. Post a photo comment if you can. Is that a thing in a live stream? Or certainly on Janet's page. I could probably display them on the screen if you fancy. So just throwing that in there. I'll keep saying that.
Okay, so there's the catch light. Just there. I'll just do a bit of colour. Colour? I keep saying colour. It is grey colour. Just ignore me. It's grey colour. So I'll just do that. So we've got the little reflection there. This is a putty eraser. You can use blue tack. So again, household item, blue tack apparently works well. You can actually put it to a point and you can actually lift up the graphite with it. Instead of, pardon?
I'm going to zoom in on that, I think, Jan.
Okay.
I can. Let's see. Oh, I can't, so I won't, eh?
Yeah, it's just basically, it's like blue tack, but it's called a putty. Excuse me, a putty eraser. But you can, like I say, put it to a fine point. And if you, like I've just done the catch light a little too small, I think there. So you can just lift the graphite out a little bit there with that. Okay. So always as well around the edge of the pupil, always seems to be a lot darker. Obviously there's people with different coloured eyes, and the colour in some people's eyes is amazing. I mean, don't know what colour eyes you've got. I'm not saying mine's amazing, but it's I've got green eyes, but I've also got brown patches in my eyes as well, randomly, little brown blobs in my eyes. Obviously with the pupil, you've got it's rounded, so again you need to try and keep any kind of lines that you're doing. Let's just add a few lines in.
Morning, Bev Lincoln.
Hi Bev. Hi. Hope you got pencil and paper. Okay. Like I say, under the lid there is always darker because it creates a bit of a shadow, you know, from the lid there. Again, a bit erratic, but it's bugging me, so I need to do it. I'm just going to blend in those little circular things. Hope it's dark enough. I think it's a little bit darker on my paper than it's showing on the camera. But again, this is just a piece of toilet paper, so I know you'll have that at home. And if you haven't, I really feel for you because somebody's been hoarding toilet paper near you. Okay, so back to the eyeball. Again, just adding in some lines. Try and do them a bit darker now. And you can start to see, if you kind of follow the shape of a circular thing rather than straight lines, it creates that circular shape as well. Again, I'm leaving the catch light there. That's the pupil, but that's the catch light.
Bev Lincoln says, sorry she's late, she'll stand in the corner.
Naughty.
But she says morning.
Good morning, Bev. Really chuffed you're here. As I say, it's kind of more like a bit of a coffee morning with a bit of drawing. Hopefully, if there's... Well, I know Kate's here, so she can teach me a few things for sure. So there you go. I think I am just gonna I'm gonna go straight into my darker pencil because, like I say, I just need it to show up a bit more.
So this, obviously, we said you can just draw with what you have, but this is kind of demonstrating why it's worth buying darker pencils. Yeah, Jan, is that right?
Absolutely. I'll just close the lid and show you this. I could highly recommend this set. I've had this set for quite some time. I've actually replaced some of the pencils in there. You can buy them individually, but this is my go-to set. I just love them. I also have a set of what they call Caran d'Ache. They're quite a bit more expensive. So if you're just trying out a bit of drawing for the first time to see if you fancy it or whatever, you haven't got the budget or you don't want to spend too much, they're kind of in between. You can get cheaper, but as I say, I always seem to go back to that one. So
it is like a really instant difference, that, isn't it?
It is, and it's also personal choice. I mean, people don't necessarily have to use those for great results. There's other great artists that I know, friends, who use different ones. I know they're the same as me, where they kind of, you see a new pencil set out, somebody has it, and you're like, oh, I've got to have that. I've got to try those. But I always come back to these. I do like them a lot. Okay, so what I'm going to do here, as I say, I'm conscious of the time now. So I'm trying to get this a bit darker so you can see on the...
I did zone out a bit because I was focusing on some technical issues over here. But is it a thing that we could sort of put some links after the video on your page to, sort of cheaper alternatives that might be okay to get started with?
Well, to be fair, I was actually going to do a video for the YouTube channel about papers and pencils and different types and what I've come to enjoy using. So I could do that probably after I do a video perhaps on that. Hope you can see it starting to take effect now. Okay, so the hairs up here, obviously we don't all have a thick, well, some people have a thick brow, a monobrow, not monobrow, painted on.
I think I've got a monobrow. Yeah,
that was the wrong thing. I didn't mean to say that. So now I'm literally, you shouldn't really, well, you can just use one pencil. You can change the pressure of how hard you're pressing onto the paper. But I've kind of moved on to this because I'm conscious that it's kind of, the 2B is quite light on the camera. So what I'm doing now is I'm just creating, again, very sharp strokes, trying to get them. I'm always doing them away like this, an upward stroke. Like I say, this isn't really a lesson. I don't know why I'm saying all this. It's more like just drawing fun, bit of doodling. I guess I'm just talking about what I do here.
So this obviously is just you're creating a texture.
Yeah.
They're not like trying to copy every single hair. This is like a texture, isn't it?
If I was doing a proper portrait, I wouldn't copy every single hair.
No.
Obviously, exactly. It's
right.
Just impossible. I mean, but it's just the overall look of an eyebrow is lots of different hairs. At the beginning of each strand of hair, it's going a little bit blunt, is my pencil, but it's just really to show you.
Vic says looking great.
Thanks, Vic. So we're just getting the shape, and the hairs really do. If you start to study things a lot more when you start drawing, because you don't realise that all the different things that you start to see. I'll just show you actually. Here's the eye that I'm kind of using as a reference. So it's just on my phone. But they all kind of come from different directions, and you want to try and make them look as natural as possible. So more pressure from the beginning, and then just kind of lighten up as you get to the end of the hair. It's gone off, Cat Scott.
Yeah.
I'll just carry on drawing my strands of eyebrow. Hope you can understand my Lancashire accent, by the way. Let me know if you can. Or does it sound strange to you? I bet it does to you, Vic, with you being in Australia. Right, okay. So, I'm just going a bit darker here. Before I do any of kind of like the eyelashes, just want to get the shading in. As I say, this isn't going to be a masterpiece. It's just really to sort of show you, Scott.
Oh, it's gone off again.
Yeah, sorry about this. How totally unprofessional.
It's just on you for a minute, Jan. Just give me a
Okay.
second
Oh dear, you'll see all my greys.
I think I know what's wrong.
So I hope you can see kind of like the brow. We've now filling it in a bit more on the shading. It kind of shows the brow a bit more highlighted. Well, actually, you can't see, can you, just yet? And where it goes into the socket there, obviously I'm just putting a bit more shading. Bringing it down a bit here. Kind of speeding things up a bit now, just so I can get it done. But I think you can see a bit of a difference from up here to here. Right, a bit of blending. Let's do a bit of blending. 10 minutes.
So Carl Taylor sent a painting in, actually.
Oh, wow.
So I'm going to try through the wonders of technology to display that on the screen. Don't know if it's even a thing. Let's try it. Be back to you in a minute.
Okay, so I'm gonna, this is getting a bit more rough now. I hope I don't kind of just totally go, ooh. But like I say, and one thing I have found with the darker pencils, like if you just put it in at the right place, some dark, you know, really dark stuff, it really makes a drawing pop. You don't do a harsh outline because that can really sort of spoil things, but just in the right places it really can make a drawing pop. So I'm just adding a few bits of skin lines. Obviously we've all got plenty of lines, some of us more than others. But it just yeah, everyone's got those little tiny lines on, you know, on your hands, everything, everywhere.
Fabulous. Carl Taylor's picture, just out of interest, is going to appear hopefully on the screen now.
Is he going to make me feel totally inferior?
It's really cool. Look at that. Can you see that, Jen?
Oh wow, that's amazing. Yes, Freddie. That's superb.
That's knockout.
Yeah, it is.
That's Carl Taylor, folks.
Thank you, Carl, for sending that.
Go check him out.
Yes. So we've got a bit of shading on the actual eyelid here coming down. Sort of the shape of the socket there. And as I say, I'm going to go back to the 2B because we have got, it's not pure white. There's a bit of shadow from the eyelid there. As I say, it's not on my photo, it does look pure white, but I'll just kind of add this in because it never is pure white. If anybody's got pure white eyeballs, they probably look a bit noticeable. And also, again, on the corners, I'm just kind of making this up because it is pure white. I'll just show you. Look, there's kind of no shadow there, but there is always usually the shadow from above, so I'm just going to add that in. And again, just do a bit of blending. Hope you can see the difference.
Nice few comments in, Jan. Vic says it looks lovely.
Thank you, Vic.
Wilma Calderwood.
Yes.
She says you make it look so simple,
Oh,
but very effective. Fantastic.
thank you.
Cheers.
Thank you, Wilma. As I say, it's just a very kind of quick... I always like to doodle eyes. If I'm doodling anything, it's always one of these eyes. A bit there, running out of clean spaces here on my paper, toilet paper.
Another comment, is it Churid or Turid? Churid, I think, says looking great. Apologies if I've pronounced that incorrectly.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
And Leanne Standry says, I need this so badly. I was recording a lesson for my history class today. I wanted the kids to draw a terracotta warrior, so I did one as an example. It was dire. I'm sure it wasn't dire. No.
No, I'm sure. I mean, you know, I look at some of the stuff I do and I think, oh, I mean, I'll be honest. Right, this drawing thing, is all down to the guy sat over there because it's a bit, it's kind of quite intimidating really doing this, and it's not something I probably would have done myself if I'm totally honest. Well, I am being honest, I wouldn't have. So I'll take a bit of this out because obviously it's spread a bit when I blended it, so I'm just going to take a bit out with the putty eraser, whiten it up a little bit, but so it's not too white. And it just lifts the graphite out, does the putty eraser. It's amazing. Right, okay, so here we are. I've got a little bit. I'm going to just, because it's like 5-2, I'm going to see if this sharpens my pencil. Okay, that's my new, that's first time actually, like I say, using that. Kate, I'll send you the link, but I haven't made my mind up about it yet.
She's got pencil envy though.
Oh!
She says those pencils blend so well, need to get some of those babies.
Woohoo! Look at these as well, Kate. The graph gears. Right, okay. The light's just shining a bit in thing there. I'll just get one more set that I love. Oh, these ones are my absolute favourites. Caran d'Ache. They are probably twice the price of the Faber-Castell 9000s, but oops, hang on. This, you will see, this one is a lot shorter, and this is why. Because let me try and sharpen that one. It's too fat, Scott. It won't go in, so I think I might be having to go back to my old pencil.
Have you dropped bits on your paper there?
Yes. Right, so watch the difference in this. Check that out. As I say, it's not particularly sharp, but
would you like me to sharpen it with your old sharpener?
Well, I think we've only got about 5 minutes left.
Yeah. Apologies, I think we were a little bit late. We had a slight technical issue. Kaylee Garth asks, would you make more live vids like this?
If people want to join me, then absolutely, yeah, totally, yep.
So same time next Thursday, Jan?
Okay.
We're not going right yet, but same time next Thursday. So it's 11 a.m. Next Thursday, UK time, that is.
Right, okay. So what I will do, I will actually use this because I can't get the point on with the new pencil sharpener. I will actually use my graph gear. I think the lead's like way too far out. Okay, because this is pretty good. Oh, I've lost my picture now. One sec. Sorry. Give us some nice long eyelashes, and with the eyelashes, it basically, oh, this should come around here. So the eyelashes, you don't want them to just look like lines, obviously coming out of anywhere.
Just very quickly, Vic was asking what that B pencil was.
This, do you mean the dark one? This one, Vic?
She's probably like, I think the live stream's a few seconds behind, so just maybe explain both.
So this one is Caran d'Ache. This is a set. This is the set here. I absolutely love this set. I think these are all my favourite pencils, if I'm honest. Caran d'Ache, I love Caran d'Ache. I've just recently got a birthday present off one of my sons, an extremely generous birthday present of coloured pencils. But this one is the 9B out of the set, and I love it for the darker work. The Faber-Castell or Faber-Castell 9000s, what I will do, like I say, I'll do a video about papers and pencils that I've come to really love to use that work for me, and I'll post a link on the video to the actual sets. So yeah, you don't want them all to look like just little lines all the same. Eyelashes just come out in all directions. Obviously, they get... Hopefully you can see them. These graph gear, again, I will put links to that. You get the odd stray as well on these if you look at your own eyes. Okay, and I'll just do some lashes here. I would, if I was doing a portrait, I would spend way more time obviously doing all this, but I've tried, like I say, it's not a lesson, it's more a get together, and I've just kind of tried to tell you about some of the things that I've actually used myself that I've found to work really well, and hopefully I think I will go back to this one and get it a bit darker on the eyelashes. I don't know whether she's got some fill-in lashes here. It's in quite a lot and quite thick. So I'm just trying to make up a bit of time here, just quietly doing these bits to make it look a bit more acceptable. Hey ho, someone's at the door.
How utterly professional. We need to make it part of the show. It's a shame we're under lockdown. We could invite them in.
Right, a bit of blending there. Like I say, I love drawing eyes. If ever I was to draw something. And the only thing I will do here, I've blended those. You do the eyelashes obviously last minute, but one thing I will show you, which is great as well, just before I go, is this little thing. A lot of artists have this. Great. It's got flat tip. You just kind of extend it. Oh, looks like I'm all out here at the end. That is what they look like, but they're supposed to be longer. I've got replacements. But this is an eraser, but it takes graphite out. So if I just kind of do this in the eyebrow, if you can see, you can take it out again and in between the eyelashes. It's very rough is this now, obviously, because we're coming to the end of this live stream, but it just kind of shows you that you can actually add in with the graphite and then take out with this little thing. Again, I'll put this in a video with some links if you wanted to buy them. I'll just blend that a little bit so it doesn't look quite as... Oh, and I'll put some in the eyes.
So Kathy from next door says she can't hear the goat's laughing face. So you don't know, when we actually go through that door, Kathy, into this log cabin, we actually go through a portal to another time, space dimension somewhere else.
Kathy's our fabulous neighbour. Kathy and Martin, they're just great, and I can't wait for lockdown to be finished so we can spend some time again with them.
Absolutely. A meal and some wine.
Yes. Scott's famous curry. So hopefully you can see where that's taken it out and it's just made it pop again. Just do a little bit more. It's quite a bit lighter. That's something for me to be aware of. It's quite a bit lighter. So this shading now is very rough, but it's just to kind of...
Are you talking about on the screen it looks lighter?
Yeah, I would have said so.
So I think your monitor is a little bit light. It looks,
right.
great over here, yeah.
It's probably over the top now then.
That makes it sound like I've got a better monitor.
Well, you have.
Well, I have actually. So.
Well, I apologise if I've completely ruined it.
No,
gone over the top.
It looks fantastic.
So I think I'll just blend that in a bit. That's one thing as well for any other artists. I hope I'm not alone in this, but I never reach a point where I'm 100% happy with it. I don't think, because every time I look at it, there's always something I think, oh, I'll just change that, or oh, I'll just do that. So I don't know whether that's a usual, a normal thing, or whether it's just me and my strange ways. But yeah, there's I always see something more. I think you have to just reach a point where you think, right, it's done, it's finished, I've got to put the pencil down, because I think you could carry on for the rest of your life just making adjustments to it. So I don't know if that will look any different if I hold it up towards this camera or whether or
You're
not.
holding up to the monitor, Jan. I'm laughing at this.
Hang on, I can't. Do you know it's
the circular thing called a lens. That looks awesome. Just pull it back a bit.
okay?
There you go. Great.
Like I say, I was kind of waffling a bit. People who know me know I can waffle a bit, and a bit more than a bit sometimes. But it's just, I've really enjoyed. I'm so happy that some people have actually come, and I'm not just sat here on my own. Though I would have just doodled my eye, but it's wonderful that you did join me. So yeah, I'll just say goodbye, and obviously next week, if you want to join me, I'll be here again. 11 o'clock. My YouTube channel is displayed on the screen now. It's really all very new to me. As I say, Scott kind of encouraged me to do this.
Get in that cabin now.
He'll kill me. But it's kind of good because it's really pushing me definitely outside my comfort zone. I do try to push myself outside of my comfort zone, but this is like on another level. So I hope I haven't come across as like, well, I don't know.
It's been an enjoyable hour, Jan. I've really enjoyed it.
It's, I think my coffee's gone cold now because I've not drunk any yet.
I'll make you another.
Yeah, and I hope you've enjoyed it. And I'd love to see what you've been doing if you've actually drawn along with the eye, whether you've drawn something completely different, which is fine. Like I say, I'm looking at this as getting together with people for 1 hour where you can just forget what's going on in the outside world, but just pretend that we're all together somewhere, and because we are missing each other, and so it's like getting together but being safe as well. So yeah, take care. Hope you enjoyed it.
Up a bit. There you go.
And I'll see you soon. Bye. Bye.